If I've learned two things from my addiction to lotto scratchers, it's that mindless repetition does not guarantee success, and also the price of my instant sadness is $3. But when it comes to fingerstyle guitar and keeping good timing, you can actually have much success for perhaps greater or less than $3, depending on what you're getting it from. But if you're getting it from here, this is the way to do it, right? So we're going to talk about how to turn your fingers into counting machines, essentially, right? My timing was so bad. I thought I was so good back in the day, and I'd be like... Everything was kind of broken, and then I taught myself to drums to kind of supplement some of the recordings I was doing, and really playing drums just totally made me understand the importance of just having like a steady back and forth pattern going on all the time, right? If you're a drummer, you can just go back and forth with your sticks, and the amount of different grooves and stuff you can do just by going back and forth 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and is insane. So we're essentially going to do the same thing with our thumb and our two fingers, okay? So, a little bit of fingerstyle guitar. Even if you're not interested in fingerstyle guitar, this is something that you should absolutely learn how to do. Because all it is this. Right? That may seem simple, but being able to do that and talk at the same time and actually maybe like dig into the strings is something that you should absolutely do, because that foundation of counting, using your fingers as counting machines, is super, super important, okay? So we're just going to do a basic 4 count. I wouldn't even want to call this a fingerstyle pattern. You can derive fingerstyle patterns from this, but we're going to take a chord that is basically just essentially the middle 4 strings of the guitar. So we don't have the low E string or the high E string. I'm going to use this D major 7 chord because it's in the key of 2020, the key of D. So my pointer finger is on the 5th fret of the A string, ring finger 7 D, middle finger 6 G, pinky 7 B, okay? If you can't do a chord like this, maybe that's too much of a reach, just try doing like a open A minor chord or an E minor chord or something. We're really just going to focus on the middle 4 strings, but I want it to be a fretted chord so the open strings don't overpower what you're hearing from the rest of them, okay? Because really hearing the pulse of what we're going to do today, I think is really of paramount importance, right? So we've got 5, 7, 6, 7, D major 7, all right? Now your thumb is going to be responsible for the A and the D strings, okay? You can see me just going back and forth. I'm just going to mute the chords so you can kind of hear the rhythm more than you can hear the notes, right? Now my pointer finger is going to be responsible for coming up into the G string. My middle finger is going to be responsible for coming up into the B string. I know a lot of you jokers out there are going to try to do the G and the B string with just your pointer finger, right? No, that's not gonna cut it today. I'm sorry. Get back down to the Quickie Mart and get another scratcher and see how that works out for you. 2 fingers, okay? A thumb and 2 fingers. I don't ask for much, right? So now again, the count, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, is just gonna be your thumb, all right? The downbeats, or the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, just gonna be the thumb, cruising on autopilot, right? And then in between, the and, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, is gonna be your pointer finger, and alternatively your middle finger. And essentially, we're getting this back and forth thing, thinking like a drummer in this instance, right? Just back and forth. That's it. Just keeping time with your fingers. Do it super slow at first. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, even if it's super slow, 1 and 2 and. The tip that I'm going to give you for this is to palm mute this, okay? The reason that I think this is going to help you, even if maybe it's not the sound that you're going for, is because when you deaden and mute everything, you can really cleanly hear the attack of every action that you're doing. When you're just doing it open willy-nilly style, all that stuff can kind of get jumbled together and it blends into just a mess and you lose the count. We want to feel the count with your fingers, okay? Again, you can do it with just a muted chord if you want. And again, that's why anchoring your palm close to the bridge of the guitar and then digging in to those strings. Really try to hit them. Don't be dainty about it, because I've found that like the softer you try to play, obviously dynamics is important, but the softer that you try to play, a lot of times you lose focused, just trying to, stay soft, because maybe you don't want your roommate or your parents or your children to hear what you're doing, right? Because nobody wants to sound like they suck. But that's why palm muting is great, because it really is a natural volume control, and it allows you to really dig in and hit those strings, right? Okay? So, again, this isn't like, I wouldn't say this is like a traditional finger style thing. This is really more of like an interest, like maybe like Travis picking. But you're in luck, because I have a class that I actually had with the help of an actual legit instructor of classical guitar that is on sale in the description. Again, it's just like the ultimate thing just to get you kind of off and running with fingerstyle guitar, because again, my thing is kind of non-traditional, and my buddy Kyle, like I said, is a professor, so he kind of like sets me straight on like the actual fundamentals and techniques of fingerstyle guitar, whereas I'm just kind of like a poser who can teach timing and the fretboard, right? So, again, what we're going to do is we're staying just in these 4 strings, and we want to get ownership A, D, G, B of each of these, right? Another great thing about palm muting, what you're doing, it kind of locks your hand into place. So I can't go all over the place, because once you're all over the place, then you're going to start missing, right? Once you're locked into place, and you kind of get that internal rhythm going, see I'm kind of like moving. Probably can't see it. Trust me, I'm moving my right leg along with this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then eventually I don't even have to think about it, right? This is kind of going on. So then if I wanted to do something a little more like, maybe add different patterns, that back and forth is a big part of the entire thing, right? It's going to be really hard to just memorize patterns without having that foundation behind there. So again, like I said, the main thing is to turn your fingers into counting machines, right? It sounds stupid to be like counting, idiots use their fingers to count, but you're only an idiot using your finger to count until you're a genius learning your fingers to count, as we're doing right here, right? So build that into your picking hand, even if fingerstyle isn't your thing, because again, all that internalized rhythm is going to help you out no matter what your goals are on guitar, right? And again, I like using fretted chords because you have total control over the sounding and the sustain of each individual note, instead of like a, see, even there, I'm kind of getting a lot of the bass there, right? Even if I'm kind of playing it cleanly, the bass is still a little bit overpowering. That's why even if you're going to use open chords, palm muting it really kind of helps you feel the pulse of it back and forth, right? So again, all of this is about building muscle memory, using your fingers to count, and doing so in what I guess is technically a pattern, like A, G, D, B, A, G, D, B, A, G, D, B, A, just over and over again. You can call that a pattern. That's barely a pattern. That's the foundation upon which all patterns are built, right? So again, this is something really easy to do. You can easily do this with metronome, do it with a backing track. You can just play a song, put any song on, maybe one of my songs by the Emeryld Ryders, and then just like mute it, and then just try to like pick along with the tempo, whatever it is, to kind of get your thumb and your fingers going on. Because again, we're building a separation where your thumb is the downbeats, and then the and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are going to be your pointer finger and your middle finger. And again, not if you're doing this, I swear to God, if you're just using your pointer finger like that, like what are you doing? These 3 fingers are just collecting free rent on your hand. It's like, let's be a little more efficient and thoughtful about this, right? Instead of spending $3 on lotto scratchers, you could be saving that money up to join my Patreon. So consider that also. Because I'm just a bro out here trying to make a living. You know what I mean? It wouldn't kill you to buy a masterclass or join the Patreon. Maybe I'm just going to start going into shame-based approaches for like the stuff that I sell on this channel. But if you don't feel like being shamed Just practice. I'm not gonna be mad at you as long as you practice. Know what I'm saying? Get that into your playing, where you're just kind of feeling that pulse out. Again, that's kind of fast. You know, I always do things faster than you should be doing them. So just slow me down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then start any kind of fretted chord. Muted. See all that, even if I'm kind of pulsing differently. It's all coming from that same foundation. And then it's just kind of omitting certain eighth notes or adding them, right? So again, work on that foundation, turn these fingers into counting machines, and then let me know how you did. And then follow me on Instagram, Twitter, the website, Patreon, etc. Hit me up in the comment section. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks a lot.